Bring on board a very special guest, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, the executive chairperson of Biocon, which did release its Q1 numbers. Strong growth in the biologic segment, but there was a bit of compression in, the margins. So, Ms. Shaw, thank you for joining us today on ET Now. Q4, of course, was a bombed out quarter. But did you see a recovery in Q1 perhaps versus the earlier quarter?
Yes, I think this is a recovery quarter, and I'm very pleased with the kind of recovery that we have shown this quarter. As you can see, the generics business jumped 16% and the biosimilars business jumped 19% year on year. But when you look at the businesses in terms of how they've spurted from last quarter to this quarter on a sequential basis, the biosimilars business, which was the most impacted, has jumped 60%. So I think that is an indication of how we have recovered.
Okay, could you give us an outlook on biosimilars, especially in FY21? Do you think growth will continue in that segment?
So I think we are very confident now that this is a business that will now start showing and unlocking a lot of growth because, as you know, we've also received our approval from US FDA for insulin glargine or Semglee, and we are about to launch the product in the US this quarter. So I think, it's very, very important for us to know that we are going to have a number of approvals in the coming 2 years. And as you know, we've set ourselves a target of $1 billion revenues by FY22. And now we feel very confident that we will hit that target. So as I mentioned earlier, I think glargine will start contributing to this business starting this fiscal. And I would also like to mention that the partnership that we have, entered into with Voluntis for the digital therapeutics platform is actually going to help us to differentiate and build a very strong presence in the insulin segment, because what we also expect to happen in the very near future is that this particular insulin glargine will actually then be added to from recombinant human insulin, which is going to be Biocon's own molecule, and then the insulin aspart, which we have partnered with Mylan. So we would have a very, very comprehensive portfolio of insulins, and we will continue to add to that over the years. So that to me is going to tell you about the growth opportunities that we are creating in the area of insulins. In terms of other products, bevacizumab is next on the anvil for us. To add to our, Mylan partner portfolio. We have many other products that are in the pipeline, which we hope will then hit the market over the next few years. So we have a very exciting growth opportunity, market opportunity. We are delighted that we have such a huge portfolio of biosimilars. I think the largest by far compared to any company operating in biosimilars. And we really feel that we are on a very strong growth trajectory.
So, ma'am, of course, that was about the Q1 numbers, expectation on biosimilar. But from a milestone perspective, do you think a lot of milestone approvals, market share gains, receiving EIR for important facility happened in this quarter, which will actually lead to growth in the coming quarters?
I think it's a very important quarter for all the things that you just mentioned. I think, from a regulatory point of view, we are in very good shape. From a market entry point of view with glargine and other products, we are in very good shape. From an innovation point of view, itolizumab is certainly a breakthrough opportunity for Biocon. And if you look at the way we are now managing the COVID crisis in terms of business continuity, planning, I think we are in very good shape. So I think we've really come together as an organization. We've really focused on being very strategic, very focused, and we want to really create a very unique company through all these opportunities. I think the segmentation of the business into generics, biosimilars, novels, and research brings even more focus onto these very important growth verticals. So all in all, I really believe that you can look forward to a very, very unique company with a very unique growth opportunity in the years ahead.
Right, ma'am. Also, a lot of news flow, going around what's happening with the vaccine. We have got a lot of data since last time when we spoke to you, whether we talk about the, Oxford vaccine, the news regarding what Pfizer has been doing. Can you just talk to us? What is your expectation being a pharma leader? You expect some good news around vaccine pretty soon?
COVID-19 has to be led by science and good science. And I think that's what we all need to focus on. Look, I think everybody is waiting, hopefully, for a vaccine to come fast. Okay. But as you know, science has to drive when it comes into the market, because science has to decide if it's safe enough and efficacious enough to actually immunize large populations with. Today, all the data that we are seeing, whether it is from Oxford, AstraZeneca, whether it is Pfizer, NBio, whether it is Moderna, whether it is Novavax, etc., these are all very encouraging data points. I think, we are seeing that Oxford has come up with some very encouraging safety and efficacy data. Moderna has come out with some very strong efficacy data. Pfizer NBio is also coming up with good efficacy data, and so on and so forth. I think really we need to give it time to really see how it's going to pan out. Because as you know, whilst you're measuring all these immune responses, we also know that there are challenges about endurance of these immune responses. So we really need to study this over time. And like even the head of AstraZeneca's vaccine, division has said, he expects that this data will not be available before the end of the year. So we have to all be very, very patient about making sure that the vaccine is safe and efficacious. What we should thank ourselves is that we actually have Serum Institute partnered with the Oxford AZ vaccine, and is ready to start the clinical trials in India, and has got capacity to actually produce the vaccines as soon as it's approved. And the other point is that we also have Bharat Biotech and Zydus Cadila, who have also initiated their vaccine studies. And there are other Indian vaccine manufacturers who are also in partnership with large vaccine programs in the world. So I think all in all, because we are the largest vaccine producing country in the world, we are in good shape in a very strategic sense. We have to use it wisely. I think we also realize that this is an opportunity for India to start innovating and creating IP in vaccines. And I think this is what we should not miss at this stage.